Hey guys, Stark Reality here, artist and YouTuber. I am going to make in this video a delicious cup of tea. A cup of tea can be quite interesting when making it. It's like a painting or a painter. There's differing styles, differing ways to do it. Do you leave the bag in? Do you let it brew for how long? What style of tea do I like? What style of tea do you like may differ. Just like art, it's subjective. So let's get into it, guys. I've got a beautiful kettle here. It's a red kettle. Now, as you can tell from the kind of, I guess you would say they are scratches or indentations on this kettle. It's a bit older. It's a bit more on the vintage side. Now, I do believe I got this magnificent kettle at Kmart, you know, it was a nice $10 kettle. Now, obviously I do have fancier kettles than that one there, of course, but I felt like in this video I needed to use a more common type of kettle to illustrate the point that I'm getting across, that everyone makes tea, no matter how rich or poor their kettle may be. Now, this kettle has gotten me through quite a lot of heartbreak, quite a lot of insight and wonderment. Now, with this kettle, I've obviously already, before we've done the video here, I've already filled it up with water. So, now I don't add anything to the water. I hear some people like to add a little bit of their tea in there already, or a bit of salt, or even some cinnamon, I hear, but I'm not really invested in that kind of thing. I'm just going to boil the water as is. Now, of course, my water, excuse the messy sink there. We've got a bit of a messy sink there. I haven't had the chance to clean out the saucepan and stuff since last night's amazing dinner, which, by the way, was a nice risotto. What I've done is, obviously, I have taken the liberty of filling it with just tap water beforehand. Now, some people have said to me, Stark, isn't it a bit healthy and a bit more hygienic to use some bottled water? I just think it's just too expensive, you know. I think it's just a bit more of an expensive style to do it. And although I could afford to do the bottled water, I just feel it's more prudent to use tap water. Again, like the kettle, illustrating the style that I'm trying to go for, which is the everyday common person way of making tea. Now, tea, like mentioned before, can be varying. You can have your black teas, you know. With a black tea, you can do it in many kind of ways. You know, do I want my tea to have some milk in it? Do I want sugar? You know, today I'm going with a very simplistic style tea. Now, I've already set the tea up here. Now, I can hear what some people are saying, which is, Stark, what tea are you going to fancy us with in this video? Well, in this video, I'm going to fancy us with a nice, it's a reliable brand of tea. You know, I'm not one to just keep myself in a certain brand of tea. Now, if we open up this cupboard here, ooh, excuse the glasses, there are quite a few of mugs in here, if you notice. I'm a bit of a tea fan. And if you look on this rack here, this shelf, excuse me, I have quite a few teas. Yes, shopper of T2, more like yee-hoo. And here, of course, I mentioned, you know, nice little one there. Look, this opens up into that, and of course a little glass, I mean a little cup there. And yes, I see the eagle-eyed view in the back there is looking at this. Yes, that is a David Tennant mug. I am quite a fan of David Tennant. Really recommend his work, especially Doctor Who, of course. You know, you could try something a bit different from his career, but always go with what you know, which is Doctor Who. So we've got that there, and as you can see, you know, if we go through here into the teas, I'm not restricted to just a Tetley. I mean, I like my Twinings, of course. Every now and then you've got to have a bit of a Twinings there. And as you see, T2 already mentioned before, and oh, you know, more Twinings. You can see I'm a bit of a Twinings fan there, but you know, let's get into the actual making of the tea. Now, as mentioned before, I am going with a bit of a delicious one here. I'm going with the passion fruit with just a twist of hibiscus. First, with all tea makers, if you haven't already filled your water into the kettle and gotten your mug ready, I know I'm going with a simplistic mug in this one. I'm going with a nice, stylish red mug with a white inside. And as mentioned before, yes, actually haven't mentioned this, but I am going with the tea bag, actually. Now, some people don't like the tea bag. I like the tea bag. Now, I will get into, when the making of the tea happens, whether I leave the tea bag in. Some people don't, some people do. We'll see where I stand on the issue later on in the video. So, now it comes to the boiling point. Nice one there. Now, I have a nice excuse the mess, bit of a cooking spree from last night. I've got a nice stove top here with a nice gas powered oven. Don't have electronic. Unfortunately, it's a share house that's quite old, so yes, gas. So I have a dicky little stove top here with a hot plate that is gas powered. So I have my trusty lighter here, which yes, you may notice it's a bit long. So I am gonna have a few goes. At trying to light this kettle. Hold on deep with me. We all know what it's like to have a kettle that doesn't start right away. So here we go. Let's get this nice and ready, adjusted. Let's see, that's nice there. Yeah, that's, now we don't need to see the entire kettle, you know, obviously. Now, like I mentioned before, I got this kettle, oh, there we go, quite quick actually. Now, I got this kettle quite a few years ago now at Kmart. While we boil this kettle, can we hear the sound of the water there? Ooh, that's nice. Now, I don't know if anyone else feels this, but I am quite a fan of the kettle's noises that it makes throughout the journey. Now, the journey of a kettle, excuse me. Now, look at the flame there. The flame's nice and blue, of course. Oh, little bits of the flame getting above the kettle there. That's why there's a few scorch marks. Now, waiting for the kettle, I feel, is my weakest point in the making process. You just sit there and wait. Now, should I get on with other work? Maybe, you know, I mean, we could. But I feel it's vital to document the entire process of making the tea, and that includes the long wait time for the kettle to boil, which, you know, lots of us have had to do. I mean, you know, I could go into the other room and listen to my music on my laptop or procrastinate on Facebook, but sometimes I just feel that you need to just stay here. Just stay here and watch the flames. Just watch the kettle. Just listen out to the kettle boil. It's just an amazing process to actually stand, watch, and listen in silence to a kettle boil as your tea is about to be prepared. Sometimes I just get lost in thought and the kettle just goes and I just either snap out of it or I just stay in there until eventually, you know, I gain my senses and we just start to make some tea. Now, let's watch the kettle together, guys. Some of you are noticing in the corner there, yes, I do have a potato masher. I use a potato masher not just for mashing potatoes, which, you know, most people would know it for. I personally use it for when I have a big meal in which I make some carrots. Now, here's the thing, some people say you usually just have mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes or even pumpkin, and I'm a big fan of pumpkin, sure, but I really think that you can mash any type of vegetable. You know, any type of vegetable is applicable to the mashing process, you know. Ooh. No, just thought the kettle was at the boil point there, but no, just a bit of a wrong hearing there. Yeah, so where was I? Oh, I've got a whisk next to the mashed potato, and obviously with this nice oven here, I like to do a bit of baking. Yeah, it's a bit of baking, you know. I like to bake things, and now I like to bake things that kind of reflect who I am at that moment. So at the moment, if I had to bake something, I would say something a little bit sweet, a little bit light. I'm thinking like a vanilla slice is what I would be baking right now. If I was doing a baking video right this second, I would do a nice vanilla slice. But unfortunately, we're not doing a baking video in this one, guys. We are making a cup of tea. Now the kettle's still boiling. It's still boiling. Let's just use this moment here of the kettle boiling as a silent moment, other than that of the heat of the kettle, a silent moment of inner reflection. Because I think that's what's really important about this process, that a lot of people kind of skip over, is that we can use this as a moment of tranquility. Hi. A little bit there. Let's do some breathing while we tranquilize ourselves. Yep. Whew, yeah, just breathe through the nostrils and out through the mouth. That's what I recommend. That's what I recommend. Switching hands now, just mixing it up here. So, yeah. No, so, yeah. I can really feel the heat of that hot plate now. Getting a little thirsty before I even have my cup of tea. Almost tempted to have a bit of water beforehand, but no, no, no. We're gonna wait till the tea happens. That's the rules. Hi there. Now, should I check whether or not should I check whether or not the water has started to bubble or not? You know, these are the kind of things that I think every tea maker can kind of understand is, do I look at the water? Do I not look at the water? It's kind of hard to kind of choose. Ooh, 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 here we go. Do we hear that? Do we hear that? Ooh, it's getting exciting now. Ooh, I don't know if you can see this on the video here, but there is a little bit of steam coming out there. Did we see that? Do I need to focus that a little? Oh, there we go. There we go. A little bit of steam there, a little bit of steam. Not quite enough to capture on video, but you know, it's still the thought that counts. Well, still okay. A little bit there. There was a little bit of steam coming out there, a little bit of steam, and I'm getting a bit excited now. With this mug here. Now, with the mug. Sorry, let me just get that out of the way. Don't need you anymore. Bye bye. Now with this mug here, I got this mug from Kmart also. Now, am I a Kmart shopper by nature? No. But it's close by. It's quite cost effective, I would say. Oopsies. Uh-oh. Don't want to leave the string in the cup. In the mug, sorry. Keep mixing up my words here. Never leave, I would say never leave the string of the bag in the mug completely, or else you're gonna have to scoop it out if you are a person who leaves the bag in. I don't want to say that I'm that type of person necessarily yet. That's still to be decided upon, but I got this mug here. Now, I got this one, and I got one similar-esque here. Now, that's a smaller one. It's like it's its son or daughter. I don't want to necessarily label it, but it's like its child. That's what I'm trying to say. Or it could be its little sibling. You know, maybe this is the older sister, the younger brother, you know, the ratty little one that has to be told off by this mug here. You know, bad, Joey, bad. Why, Jessica, why? These are the kind of things you get up to when you're waiting for that kettle to boil. Why won't you boil yet, kettle? Let's put this guy back on his little hook. Yes, I've got a hook there for him. It's, you know, it's safer. Now, you know, I might accidentally chink a glass against him, but, you know, that's the kind of risk you have to go to with hooks. So, never leave the bag in. Now, I think I've already stated that one before. And, no, there's definitely steam coming out of there now, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Maybe if I put my hand behind, you can see the steam. Can we see the steam? No, I don't think so, but I can see the steam, and you know, I'm not the type of person to make a video and lie to you about it. So the steam is coming out of the kettle. It's getting a bit steamy in this kitchen, if you don't mind me saying. Sorry there, got a bit distracted. The kettle has now boiled. Now look at that. Now that there, ladies, gentlemen, and others, is steam. And when there's steam, that means there's a boiling point. And now that we're at the boiling point, guys, I am going to... Oh, there's that glorious sound about to kick in. Can we hear that? Oh, that's lovely. Now that's telling me that the water is ready to make some tea. So I just turned off the flame there. If you don't believe me, there's no flame. Now here is something about this kettle. Now this kettle is a little bit hot to touch, so I'm just gonna leave that to cool for a second there. Now with this, I am gonna admit to you straight off the bat, I am the type of individual who will leave the bag in there, then pour the water on top. Now, I've seen some YouTubers who talk about tea, and, you know, I have some friends who work at T2 who have said to me before, Stark, it's best to take the bag out first, pour the water in, and then let it kind of stew in the water. But I'm just not that type of person, guys. I'm sorry if you are, I'm not discriminating, but I'm a bag-in type of person. Now, I think it's going to be cooled just enough for me to flip this open. Oops! it's a little hot there. Okay, I'm gonna place this safely there. And we're gonna have a lovely moment of tea pouring. And as mentioned, for those who have just tuned in or didn't pay attention the first time around, this is a Tetley passion fruit with a twist of hibiscus. Now, I'm a little bit of a hibiscus fan, but only a little bit, just for a twist. So let's just give this a go here. So let's give this a go. I want to pour safe. So guys, I have boiled it, I have brewed it, and now it is up for drinking. Now, the question I can hear you guys asking is, Stark, do you leave the bag in? Do you take the bag out? Now, this may be a satisfying answer to some, maybe an unsatisfying answer to others, but I am a take it or leave it kind of bag person. It's a 50-50 on whether or not I leave the bag in there. Now, this time round, I'm going to be that type of person who's going to be a bag leaver. Now, a bag leaver to some might be offensive, but to me it's okay to leave the bag in. It's okay to take the bag out. I don't really have a visceral reaction to leaving the bag in, but I am going to have this lovely, nice, hot Tetley passion fruit with a twist of hibiscus. Now this is going to be the stuff. Now this, ooh, give it a little bit of a blow before I give it a sprinkles. You can really smell the passion fruit in this one. Now, you can really give it a good whiff. Now, how's the taste gonna be? Now that's the question. Ooh, bit hot still. I'm actually gonna leave. Ooh, no. I said I was gonna drink it. I'm gonna drink it. Because I really do love tea. Ooh. Ooh, bit hot. Ooh. Lovely. Now that's the stuff. Now I just had a first little sip. Now the first sip can be the decide on whether or not this cup of tea is for me. And I can tell you that this cup of tea is absolutely for Stark Reality. Lovely. Let it cool for a second, man. Now I had the sip of it. It's pretty good. It's like a painting. I mentioned earlier in this video that tea making can be quite like painting. It's a real style, a real flair to it. Some styles of it are for other people and some styles are for others. You know what I mean by that? Some styles of tea blend with me. Some styles of art blend with me. Some styles of tea and art I personally create and enjoy. Others, they don't blend with me. And others, I don't make and enjoy. But that doesn't mean that they're invalid. You know, as an art style, I'm not a real big fan of cubism. But that doesn't mean I'm against cubism. And I'm not a real big fan of tea that's honey flavored, but that doesn't mean I'm against tea that's honey flavored. I'm just not much of a honey person, I'm just trying to say. You know, so that there is Stark Reality making a cup of tea. Now, why did I make this video? I feel that the problem with YouTube and life is sometimes YouTube glamorizes certain sections of everyday life, and that is a good and bad thing. And I just really wanted to capture in this video the moment of life that I feel a lot of us, especially tea drinkers or coffee drinkers, maybe some hot chocolate drinkers, go through, which is the whole process of getting the kettle ready, boiling the kettle, and waiting. I think that boiling a kettle and waiting can really be a summary for youth, the middle-aged, and elderly people. That it's an experience that pretty much all ages and walks of life, creeds or races, genders or sexualities can all agree upon, which is waiting for tea to boil, waiting for tea to be brewed, waiting for the kettle to be boiled, and even deciding whether or not you want tea in the first place, or if you're a coffee drinker. I don't want to exclude the coffee drinkers or hot chocolate drinkers, you know, I don't want to exclude them either, but it's the same principle. It's the decision and the waiting, and then the product itself. And by I mean product, it could be relating to anything. It could be a painting, it could be a cup of tea. Oh yeah. And this cup of tea is absolutely the style of tea that I, as an artist, would put on in an exhibition.